Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I'm joined by Jim Shorkey. And Jim, something we know is that people are adverse to change. A lot of us live by that notion of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But recognizing that often when you're buying something, when you're entering a new phase, change can be hard. And we see that in sales. You're having a lot of those conversations we're having, and you're requiring people to shift their mindset, possibly, to change from this is the car that I had to this is the car that I now have. Is that change hard? Is getting people to change hard if they're comfortable with the status quo?
How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
First of all, I disagree with just about everything you just said, okay? Number one, never use absolutes. You're saying people are adverse to change.
Yeah.
I would rather you say some people, or maybe even most people, but there are people out there that are they're change agents. They understand change, they embrace change, and they're very good at it. So don't tell me that people, you're making it out to be the American population is adverse to change. No, it's not true. So right off the bat, anytime you use an absolute, it's other than gravity. Gravity is an absolute, and it is true.
Yes.
But people are not adverse to change.
Yes.
But I would say predominantly, people are adverse to change. Okay, so I'll agree to an extent. The second thing I want to tell you about, people say to me, change is hard. What's hard? See if you can answer this question. What's really hard?
Dying.
That's one of them. What's really hard?
Being stuck and not having enough money at the end of the month.
That's hard. And what's really hard? Not changing is really hard.
Yeah.
People say, what's it cost me to change? Wait till you get the bill for not changing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was thinking about this. I just started doing a little walking, and I was thinking about our program. What do we sell our program for?
We sell our program for $397.
$397. And that's not a small amount of money, $397. And I was thinking about this. And I actually made a few phone calls that I didn't get through on, but I will. I'm going to ask a question. And I want you to think about this, Derek. It's $397. That's what it's going to cost you to buy Rethink You. And for that, you get a workbook, you get video, you get the whole...
And you get Rethink You 1.0.
Okay, so you get a lot of stuff. So let's just say you get a lot of stuff. Let's say it's $397, but still at the end of the day, that's not a small amount of money by any stretch. But the question I want to ask the audience right now, so we know that it costs $397 for you to buy the Rethink You program, and there's a lot of benefits to that. So my question is, what's it cost you if you don't buy it? So I can't really tell you what it would amount to, but let's say, for example, that you're making a certain amount of money per year. But as a result of doing Rethink You, your pay goes up by $5,000 a year. So let's say that translates into $5,000 a year for 10 years. That's $50,000.
Yeah.
So what's it cost you if you don't buy the program?
$50,000.
$50,000. So what's more expensive, buying the program or not buying the program?
Yeah.
I have people that I work with that I have a suspicion they're going to give me a really big number. The question I'm going to ask these three people is, what do you feel in your mind your relationship with Jim Shorkey, which, by the way, Rethink You is a relationship with Jim Shorkey, Chuck Molina,
Steve Gardner,
Derek Kelly, a whole bunch of people. There's also people on there that have done the program that they're going to tell you what it meant to them. I have a suspicion when I talk to some of these people, it's going to be way more extra money than the $5,000 per year. I'm going to say to them, what do you think, hooking up with Jim Shorkey, we did it on a weekly basis, one-on-one, what was that worth to you? Give me a number. And then, and let's say the number is $100,000 or $1 million or 10,000 or whatever that number is. That's what it costs. That's what would have cost that person had they not done the program. It's a life-changing program. So back to your question of why are people so adverse to change? Change is challenging. But what I would teach them as a mentor is that not changing is the really expensive part.
Yeah.
If you keep on doing what you've been doing,
you're going to get the same results.
Now, if you're not happy with what you're getting, then you need to make a change.
Yeah.
In order to make that change, you have to rethink yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
The
first word in our slogan is change the way you think, get the results you want. It doesn't say don't change the way you think.
Yeah, and the formula is truly Thoughts first, feelings as a result of those thoughts second, actions are third, and then, of course, results. And I want to be very clear because there's a lot of people out there that will tell you, somebody texted me the other day, what you think about, you bring about. No, not true. It's not true. When you hear that kind of stuff, I'm telling you right now, run. What you think about, you don't bring about. That's just not true. The only thing that produces results is actions. I want to be very clear about that. Actions. Actions produce results. And no, you can't pay somebody else to do your push-ups. You got to do your own push-ups. Paying somebody else to do your push-ups is not going to make you any stronger. It's the actions that are going to bring about something. And that's what we teach in Rethink You is we got to think about it, map it out, figure it out, decide what we want, why we want it. Does our reason why make us cry? But then we got to seek expert counsel to get the steps. And it's the steps that are going to produce the results.
But you're bringing up a good point about, okay, Rethink You teaches you the process, the steps, but it also, so maybe it impacts your business and you go $5,000 a year, so $60,000 over 12 years, but it also could impact your health. You could be healthier.
Oh, there's no question.
So then boom, suddenly you're on less prescriptions as a 67-year-old person than you might have been. And how much money is that saving?
Don't even talk about, I'll go a different, that's a good one. I'll go a different direction here. Mm-hmm. And I don't want you to say this. I just want you to think it. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yep.
People say you can't get more time. Yes, you can. Oh, where's he going with this one? If we choose to live our life in a certain way with the idea in mind of becoming healthier, is there a way to become healthier?
Absolutely.
Would it come down to the food that we put in our body? Mm-hmm. What's more important, ladies and gentlemen? The food that we put in our body or the food that we don't put in our body?
The food that we don't put in our body.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. But donuts are not a health food. They're not. Donuts are not a health food. If you choose to put donuts in your body, you're heading down an unhealthy path. Now, I know somebody's going to tell me, well, a donut once in a while is not going to hurt me. And of course, I agree with that. But a donut a day, I'm pretty sure somebody said one time, I'm pretty sure, but correct me if I'm wrong, a donut a day keeps the doctor away. Did I get it?
No.
Oh, okay. What if you thought that was true? So tell me what it really is.
An apple a day.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, I missed it. So it's not a donut, it's an apple.
No.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Mm-hmm. What if that's true?
Then you should eat the apple.
Derek, it is true. They've actually proven that it is true. An apple a day does keep the doctor away. It's to a degree, it's an analogy, a parable type thing. But it is true that if we can take an apple, put some spinach with that apple, put some seeds and nuts with that apple, throw some olive oil on there, cut up some carrots, or we can choose, because it is America still, we can throw in 3 donuts. Probably similar calories, maybe more with the donuts actually, but still, what if that's true? What if an apple a day does keep the doctor away? So I started off with people tell me all the time, you can't get more time. If we changed our approach to life, it's called lifestyle choices around healthy eating. That would be one of them. Exercise, physical movement. I already told you, we're doing this today. We've had a few breaks. What have I done during those breaks?
Walked.
Turns out that's a pretty good thing for Jim Shorkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And right now, I can prove it. I've got 9,426 steps so far today. And I can prove it that before you got here, I rucked. R-U-C-K. I have a rucksack with 22 10-pound weights in it. And I rucked for 40 minutes. And I'm out there in the sun. And then I was done when Derek showed up. I'm sitting out there in my very comfortable chair, half naked, in the sun. And I've got my coffee with my 4 Sigmatic mushroom blend. And it's called, interestingly, it's called Focus. What are we doing right now?
Having a podcast.
How important is it for me to be focused?
Yeah, if you and I would get distracted and just start talking about random stuff,
Yeah, I gotta
I'm
be
sure the
focused.
audience would be like, what are you guys talking
Yeah,
about?
so I had my cup of coffee with number one, my Four Sigmatic. It's called Focus. It's got, I believe it has lion's mane in it and a couple other medicinal mushrooms on it. Not medical advice. And then the other one is Gold, GOLDE, which is also a coffee mixture, and that has turmeric and cacao in it. And so I put a spoonful of that in my coffee, along with a spoonful of the Focus, stir it up, and I drink it. I also did a cold plunge today. While Derek was here, they were setting up here, 42 degrees I was in there at. Did the infrared sauna at 140 degrees. And it's just, for me, something that I choose to do to get healthier. Now, I want you to just, please, audience, I want you to do something for me right now. And Derek, I want you to do it for me. And don't tell me. Please, I don't want to know. Don't put it in the comments. I don't want to know. Okay? How much money, ladies and gentlemen, how much money do you make a year? Do you have a number in your head? I want you to multiply that number times 5. You have another number in your head now. Audience, do you have that number in your head? That's what 5 extra years is worth to you. So now we're going to talk about a price that seems to be pretty high, $397. Now, compared to that number that you have in your head right now, seems like $397 is a bargain. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's what it's worth, because that's your income potential, right? You're making it right now. Okay, so all of a sudden it becomes, what are you waiting for? Shouldn't we get to work on, because the more you mess up with the donuts, what happens if we choose to do the donuts versus the apples? We just might get real sick.
Yes.
We might. And then we might take we're losing years. So instead of gaining 5 years, is it possible, ladies and gentlemen, is it possible that we could lose 5 years?
Absolutely.
So now we got to multiply that number times 10. We didn't get the extra 5, but we lost 5. Now, originally when Derek and I started doing the podcast, we called it
The Pragmatist Podcast.
because we wanted to give people very pragmatic / practical advice. We don't want to use trickery. If you don't want to buy the program, don't buy the program. Don't buy it. We're still going to do this. If one person buys the program today, great. If 10 people buy it, fabulous. If 100 people buy it, fantastic. I can tell you, how much money am I going to get if 100 people buy that program today for $397? How much money is Jim Shorkey going to get? 0. I'm good. I love you guys. This program is a compilation of what I did, to build the Jim Shorkey Family Audit Group. My part in it, And this program is what I am doing right now to heal myself from my very traumatic stroke that I had roughly 2 years ago. One of my close friends, Rob Hoffman, got involved with the program.
That's right.
Did he not?
Yes.
And what was one of the side benefits to that?
Well, man, yeah. So he, from my understanding, and you know the story a little bit better than me, but he had recently had a divorce, and he met a woman who also had children, and he had children, and they had to blend that family together.
Blended
somehow.
family, yes, you're correct.
And then number 2, it helped his business, and that was his original purpose. Was
Don't forget about he improved his relationship with his wife.
oh yeah, so they blended the family
Yep.
healthily, improved the relationship with his wife.
What's that worth? Would you spend $397 to improve your relationship with a very important person in your life?
Absolutely.
Would you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would you spend $397 to improve your relationship with your children or help them to grow into marvelous careers 20, 30 years from now? Would you do that? So it's not always about just money. What's the value that you would place on that blended family thriving?
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
Okay, and then continue with Rob also.
Yeah,
with some
and
economic
his
things.
first goal, what he thought he was coming into the program for was, oh, I'm going to grow my business. And that did happen.
It did.
It happened well. But he never imagined healthy family, healthy relationships. He didn't say this, but I think he's actually gotten better at talking with people, at being conversational, at setting goals, at some of those things that are maybe the more intangibles of things that we teach that he's learned just by being around us.
And it's because of the Jim Shorkey-isms that he shared with us on the podcast that we did with Rob. I was thinking, like, what do you think is more important? What's more important, the to-do list, things we're going to start doing, or the to-not-do list? things we're going to stop doing.
I was wrong about this in the past, and I've learned why.
Please express yourself.
To not do list is actually better, because if you know what you're not going to do, it makes deciding what you're going to do a lot easier. Right? Before, I would think, oh, what do I need to do today? And those are really helpful. But if I know what I'm not doing, I've said no to these things, they're not going to happen. So I'm not worried about, oh, I might accidentally do this or I might accidentally do that. I know what I've said no to. All right, now that I know what I've said no to, what am I saying yes to?
And we're back to donuts and not a health food. And so if we were to say today, I'm going to eat an apple and I'm going to eat a donut, that's not a good plan. So if we said today, I'm going to not eat the donut and I'm going to have 2 apples, sounds like we're making progress.
Yes.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
So I believe in my heart of hearts that the to not do list is way more impactful than the to-do list. Probably we should get out and walk today. But what's more important, the walking or
Quitting smoking.
No judgment. No judgment. I don't smoke. I don't smoke. Never did. My dad was a smoker his whole life. It's possible, entirely possible. He could still be with us today. That is possible.
Yeah.
I mean, Amy's mom is 87 years old.
She's here. Yep.
She's here. And that would be approximately how old my dad. I think he maybe would be around 90. He was born in 1932. Yeah. So I'm sorry, he would be 92, excuse me. And people are living to be 100 years old. Yes. It's not like you can say, oh, 100 years old, that's impossible. No, it's not. Is it normal? Of course not. It's very unusual for a person to live to be 100 years old. I know that. But you asked me a question. My goal is to live to be 122. And it's been done. It's documented. It's been done. And when I first got back to this after my stroke, Derek asked me a question. He said to me, Jim, a lot of people were asking you about 122 and you had this stroke and you were very sick and this and that. So is that still on the table? I said, yes, it is. Of course it is. And I said to Derek, I said, the chances of me living to 122, just take the number of people that have lived on this earth since the beginning of time.
Yes.
But I said to Derek when he was asking this question, it was a very emotional conversation, as you recall. But I said, can I at least try? So if I die at 100, how'd I do?
Pretty darn good, Jim.
Pretty darn good. Oh, Jim, you didn't hit your goal. Look at you, you loser. And people say this, you can't think that. You can't talk. Don't talk that way. I tell people all the time, I say, I'm really old. I say, no, you're not. I say, yeah, I am. I'm 67 years old, and I'm proud of it. And I say to them, and I always throw them off course. I say, you know what? Do you want to get older? They go, oh, I don't know about that. I said, so a year from now, if I say to you, how old are you? Or did you get any older? And you tell me that, no, I didn't get any older. What did you do? You died.
Dang. That's deep.
Got some chill? Yeah. You died. So be careful what you wish for. I want wrinkles. I want baldness. I want challenges, because it's a lot more challenging to be 100 years old than it is to be 67 like I am right now. Yes. I want all these things. Now, I'm going to do my apples and I'm going to do my carrots. I'm going to do everything I can to make those years really cool. But the fact is, those of you who say, oh, I don't want to get older. What do you want to do then? You're telling me you want to die. You're going to get older. That's how it works.
Change happens.
A year from now, I'm going to be 68. Another year from now, I'm going to be 69. Guess what? I'll probably have a few more scars. That's just how it works. Come on. Stop the nonsense. This is my new favorite thing to say. I might turn it into a podcast. Stop the nonsense. I want to get really old. My goal was 122. That's really old. I may end up in a wheelchair. That's possible. I hope I still have my brain. I hope I can still think and talk. And I'll sit here at 122 in my wheelchair. And I hope I can have a conversation with Derek Kelly. So you would be 90.
Yeah.
It's pretty old. 90. So be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
You can buy more time with life choices.
But you're bringing it all back to change. All of this
it's all about
requires
change.
you to change.
It's about change, yeah. And as I said, I did say this.
Because you're
change is difficult. Sure, it is. It is. Not changing is 10x more difficult.
Yeah.
When you get the results of not changing, it's going to be bad. Change is the answer.
Yeah. And you started it off well. You said you got to first change you got to change your thoughts first to then decide, okay, what's on my not to do list? You need to get that idea in your head of what we teach a strategic continuum, B to B plus plan executed close to 100%. You need to get that plan in place of, okay, what am I not doing?
You're going. So what Derek's talking about is it's a strategic based thing, which is in Rethink You, called the strategic continuum. And what it basically means is that the strategy determines the results. Good strategy in general, good results. Bad strategy, bad results. So in our parlance, results are the name of the game. So when we look at our results, that's just information, nothing more, nothing less. It's information. If we like our results, then we continue. And not liking our results might just simply mean they're okay, but I think I can do better. So that would be an example. Or maybe you just totally hate your results.
Yeah.
But regardless, results are the name of the game. In order to change the results, we have to change the strategy. We're going to figure out what we want to do. 122. We're going to figure out why we want to. I have 9 grandchildren to date. My wife, my children. I have all kinds of reasons why I want to live to be 122. And yes, in fact, my reasons why do make me cry. And then I seek expert counsel to figure out what's going to be on my to-do list and what's going to be on my to-not-do list. And I can tell you that donuts are on my to-not-do list. I'm not doing them. Yeah, but they taste really good. No kidding. You're being played. You're being played. Of course they taste good. It's a formula that tastes good. Somebody said to me the other day, we were talking about donuts, Rob and I, and somebody said, yeah, but I like donuts. Of course you do. What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah.
They don't belong in your body. I'm sorry, folks. They don't belong in your body. Once in a while, no, really not. When's the last time you fell down the steps?
I honestly can't remember.
Okay, well, you should go fall down the steps today because you're due. Fall down the steps once in a while,
Yeah.
it can't be that bad, right? So every 6 months, it's okay. It's my day to fall down the steps. You falling down the steps could take you out, brother. So I would suggest that we don't fall down the steps.
I agree.
I would suggest we look both ways when we cross the street.
Absolutely.
I would suggest that we put our seatbelt on before we put the
Yes.
car in drive. I would suggest that we make sure the gas tank has enough gas to get us to where we want to get to, because there's no gas stations. I would suggest we do these kind of things. Yes. I would suggest why don't we use, if this everything in moderation bull crap is real, why do we put our children in special car seats with special belts?
Because if we were in moderation, we'd say, oh, sometimes I can sit in the front.
Once in a while, yeah, they can sit up front, or we can skip the child. It's bull crap. When you hear that kind of nonsense, back to my new favorite word, I would suggest that you run. If you hear somebody say everything in moderation, run.
You're encouraging the audience today as our farewell to say embrace change.
Oh, absolutely.
Embrace change. Change the way you think. Get the results you want. Jim, powerful message.
Yes.
Stop the nonsense.
Stop the nonsense.
Let's embrace the change.
Not changing is 10x difficult. It's way more difficult to not change. That's when you end up with really dire consequences.